The sun was barely up, painting the sky in soft pinks and golds when I stepped into my front yard, toolbox in hand, ready to install a sleek new smart lock on my pool gate. My name's Henry Thompson, a retired engineer with a penchant for precision. Means always clipped to perfection. My hedges trimmed like they're auditioning for a magazine spread. This quiet corner of Willow Grove, my hard-earned sanctuary, was supposed to be a place of peace. But that Saturday morning, peace was the last thing I'd get. As I hummed an old Motten tune, a shadow loomed over my neatly laid tarp. A kid, barely old enough to drive, stood there, blonde hair artfully tousled, pointing a finger in my face, like he was starring in a courtroom drama. "I know what you're up to, and you're not getting away with it," he barked. I blinked, screwdriver frozen midair. Getting away with what? Upgrading my own property? Buckle up. This tale of neighborhood nonsense is a wild ride, and I'd love to hear where you're reading from. Drop your city and country below, because I suspect this kind of drama isn't unique to Willow Grove. It all started with that kid who I'll call Junior. Pest leaning against my low hedge with the swagger of a wannabe dictator. "You can't put that thing on there." He snapped, eyeing my smart lock like it was a ticking bomb. I'm a patient man. Decades of navigating corporate minefields taught me to keep cool. Though, I offered a polite good morning. "This is just a safety upgrade for my grandkids." His response? A puffed up chest and a sneer. "It's against the rules. I order you to stop." Order me? I almost laughed, but the entitlement in his pale green eyes stopped me cold. This wasn't about the lock. "It's a security risk," he scoffed, ignoring my explanation of its emergency access features. Then came the kicker, pissed like a bad movie villain. "I know what you're really up to." The air turned heavy. "If you don't take it off, I'm calling the cops. My mum's a big deal around here, and she'll make you regret moving in there." It was raw prejudice, thinly veiled. As a black man who'd climbed every ladder life threw at me, I'd seen that look before and not tightened in my gut. But I folded my arms steady as ever. "Go ahead, son. Call them." He did. Within minutes, a patrol car rolled up, tires loud against the asphalt. Junior Pest smoothed, his hair practically bouncing with self-importance. Two officers stepped out. Sergeant Daniels, older with a weathered palm, and Officer Tate, younger and itching for action. Junior launched into his tail, finger jabbing at me. "He's tampering with a security fence." I told him to stop, and he threatened me. Threatened? The kid was rewriting history with Oscar-worthy flair. I handed over my ID voice even. "I'm Henry Thompson, homeowner. Just installing a lock for my grandkids' safety." I gestured to my toolbox, the manual, the half-installed device. Daniels raised an eyebrow at Junior. "You said he was aggressive." The kid faltered, but before he could dig himself deeper, a gleaming SUV roared up, outstepped a woman who could only be Junior's mother. Let's call her Vanessa Sharp, the self-proclaimed queen of Willow Grove. Vanessa strode over, blonde hair, perfect athleisure, screaming wealth. "Officers, what's the problem?" she demanded, ignoring me entirely. Her son rushed to her side, whining about my weird device. Her cold eyes flicked to me. "So, you're the new neighbor." "I'm Vanessa Sharp, head of the HOA's Architectural Review Committee." Her tone made neighbor sound like a slur. I nodded. "Henry Thompson, just securing my pool." She scoffed, echoing her son. "Secure that contraption violates our standards." Daniels cut in. "Ma'am, he's on his property. Unless it breaks city code, it's an HOA matter." Vanessa's smile was all teeth. "Oh, Mr. Thompson, we have covenants." Unapproved changes led to fines. She turned to her son. "Let's go, darling." They sped off, leaving me with a sinking certainty. This was war. The first salvo came a week later, crisp HOA envelope citing my unapproved poolgate hardware. The notice signed with Vanessa's flourishing. Scrawl demanded I remove the lock or face $50 daily fines. Then another arrived claiming my lawn's sharp edges were excessively manicured. My dark green welcome mat too vibrant for Willow Grove's muted palette. The absurdity was gling. Vanessa was weaponizing the HOA's vague rules. Her signature a whip crack on every notice. I responded to each certified mail with specs, photos, and polite requests for clarification. My corporate training kicked in. Paper trails or power. But Vanessa didn't stop at paperwork. My recycling bin was mysteriously tipped over. Dog droppings appeared by my roses, likely courtesy of her yappy poodle, Princess. Anonymous noise complaints brought a baffled city inspector to my quiet yard. In the stairs, Vanessa and Junior's relentless, hostile glares every time I stepped outside were a campaign to make me feel like an intruder in my own home. The emotional toll was real. Late nights, I'd wrestle with anger. Why me? Why this over a lock? But giving in wasn't an option. I installed discrete cameras citing HOA rules on property security and started a journal logging every incident. Neighbors began to notice Mrs. LSON across the street offered a shy nod. Mr. Goldstein, a tomato enthusiast, muttered, "Vanessa's been a nightmare for years." At a community cleanup, Sarah Miles, a young mum, whispered, "What she's doing to you is awful. She fined us over our kids' slide." Tom, a reclusive widower, grumbled about newspaper placement notices. A quiet resistance was forming, and my meticulous fight was giving them courage. The showdown came at an HOA meeting held in the clubhouse's sterile glow. Vanessa, flanked by jittery board members, Mr. Klein and Mrs. Harrow, opened with a tirade, brandishing blurry photos of my menacing lock, aggressive lawn, and jarring mat. "Mr. Thompson defies our standards," she declared, expecting me to crumble. I stood, briefcase in hand, suit crisp. I'd like to respond with facts. I presented the lock safety features, city code compliance, and photos of similar devices in upscale areas. My lawn, I showed Vanessa's own razor-edged grass, the mat. I flashed a decor magazine praising dark green. Then the bombshell. I've received 17 notices in 3 months, many baseless. Here's footage of Miss Sharp's son damaging my lawn and her dog fouling my roses. Gasps filled the room. Junior shouted, "That's fake." I didn't flinch. Timestamps are clear and originals are available. I urged the board to dismiss the fines and review Vanessa's conduct. Her face turned scarlet, but the board, cornered by evidence, tabled sanctions. Vanessa's grip was slipping. I wasn't done. Her hypocrisy finding my lawn while her own was pristine nagged at me. Was she as rule-abiding as she claimed? I dug into HOA minutes and city records. My engineers are spotting oddities, beautification funds favouring Vanessa's street, vague invoices for non-existent firms. Then jackpot her garden shed. City permits. Allowed a 10x12 structure, but hers was a mansion air-conditioned, plumbed wired. A guest house unpermitted and illegal. The irony was delicious. Vanessa, who hounded me over a mat, was hiding a code violation that could tank her property value. Revenge wasn't my goal. Justice was. I drafted an anonymous letter to the city detailing the shed's violations with permit copies and satellite images, mailed from another town. It was untraceable. 3 weeks later, a city truck parked at Vanessa's. From my marrels, I watched her stiffen as an inspector headed to her backyard. Her gestures grew frantic. Rumors swirled. Vanessa's in trouble. Over a huge shed. Mr. Goldstein confirmed an unpermitted dwelling unit. Fines loomed. Maybe demolition. I stayed polite. My good mornings. Sharp, cheery as her paranoia grew. She had no proof I tipped the city, and that drove her wild. Vanessa's unraveling was public. At the next HOA meeting, a resident grilled her about the shed. Speechless, her authority crumbled. Weeks later, a demolition crew arrived. Saws whined, timbers fell, and her dream was rubble. I sipped coffee on my porch, not gloating, just satisfied. Vanessa's reign was over. She scurred now, avoiding eyes. Rumors of selling her house trailing her. Junior mumbled, "Hello." His bravado gone. Willow Grove breathed easier. Neighbors smiled. HOA meetings turned civil. My smart lock gleamed. My mat stayed green. My grandkids splashed safely. Reflecting, I saw the ugliness of prejudice. Vanessa and Junior didn't hate the lock. They hated me, a black man daring to thrive in their world. But I fought with dignity, not anger, using evidence over emotion. Patience won, not vengeance. Vanessa's downfall wasn't my doing. She built her empire on hypocrisy, and truth tore it down. I just lit the match. Willow Grove's freer now, a real community. Sometimes I spot a dandelion in my lawn and smile imperfections human. This saga taught me you can't pick your fights, but you can choose how to wage them. Dignity, facts, and patience are unbeatable. Drop a comment. Have you faced a neighborhood tyrant?